Xenomorphs.
Welcome to the Wednesday night mouse party chat. I am your host, DM Foss, and joining me tonight are Cowgirl Candace. How you doing?
Doing all right.
That's good to hear. And Baron, how you doing tonight?
Good. It's not a party without Candace.
No, it is not. And sorry we were a minute late. We were over at the tactical quiz that happens every Wednesday on gun websites and gear websites on YouTube's. It's pretty fun, I think. I won this week, so yes, I had fun. It is probably going to be a rare win because I don't do very well on these quizzes. And if Baron keeps playing, he's a threat.
Yeah, as long as it's not something from the 80s, I'm probably good.
As long as it's not pop culture.
As long as it's about guns, I should be fine. Yeah, the two quizzes that didn't matter, I scored 80 and 90 on.
Yeah, I do a little better on the, I guess, the pop culture than the more technical quizzes. But so this is the Wednesday night mouse party, and let me get my banner going, which I always forget. There we go. So there's a banner scrolling at the bottom. You can email me at untacticalfoss@gmail.com if you have comments, suggestions, or Gorn. It's always nice to look at Gorn. And if you happen to watch this in replay, anything we talk about, you can keep the conversation going or submit photos. And we'll show them on the next show. Let me get back. There we go. So far out there, we had Sergeant Joe Smith, who was out there a while ago. May have fallen asleep. Orange 9. DJ Play Nice. Good evening, good evening. And we don't really have a topic, so if there's anything anybody out there wants to talk about, just throw it out in the chat. We can talk about it. As normally we are wholly unprepared, but this is more a chat to have fun than to be too serious.
I believe Candace had a topic prepared.
Yeah. What would that be, Candace?
What firearm do you think would be best suited to handle xenomorphs that you and I could legally buy?
Ooh.
It's a good question.
Yeah. I would
Do
say.
Do we know how many there are? Like, are there 5 or there 100?
Let's say, for sake of argument, there's only one.
Ooh, there's only one? I think I'd want an AR-10.
Yeah, the first thing that popped into my mind was a 50 cal, like a Barrett, but you probably want something more maneuverable, and
And you
with
want
a
fast follow-up
decent
shots.
rate of fire. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not sure I would trust a 5.56 on a xenomorph.
No, I don't either. Unless, yeah, I was gonna say maybe if it was like a full auto, but I think the way the question was framed leans away from like NFA items. Pocono
So what about you,
Joe.
Candace? What would you get?
Now, this is assuming cost isn't a factor. I'd get that Devore TS12, put some slugs in it.
That'd be fun.
Pocono Joe is asking, is it the Queen?
Is who the queen? The xenomorph?
Xenomorph.
It is
Ooh,
not
if
the
it's
queen.
the queen, I think you'd want that 50.
Yeah, because she's a little slower moving. John Brown Productions, good to see you. And Snark and Sass, good evening, good evening.
I heard the IRA almost killed the queen with a mortar. That might work.
Yeah, I think shotgun might be the way to go.
It could be, yeah. What type of slugs are you thinking? Anything exotic?
Maybe some of those goofy Russian slugs. that
It
you
would
see.
probably be one of the goofy Russian slugs. Tungsten, maybe.
You think anyone would pick birdshot? Just wait till
Really?
they're really close. Get sprayed.
If that's all you had, I guess. But don't think it would be anybody's first choice.
No. Imagine trying to hunt a xenomorph with a cut shell, and that's all you got.
Well, you'll have a bunch. You can fit more.
Well, they don't feed very good when you cut them from a pump or a semi-auto. Do you know what a cut shell is?
Yeah. Yeah, there was the Iraq veteran 88 and a bunch of 8s. Barry did a video on cut shells. God rest his soul. Rest in
He had a
peace,
lot of good
Barry.
info.
I kind of stopped watching that channel after Barry died.
Yeah, it did change. I watch it occasionally.
Yeah, like the meltdown videos. I'm just not into that.
What about you, Candace? Do you watch Iraq Veteran 88?
I find the videos painfully tedious.
Yeah, those meltdown videos. I just go to the end.
Woods is saying not Barry is kind of a tool. Kind of agree.
Is his name Chad? That's his name, right?
I'm not sure.
People were calling him Chode for a while.
Yeah, that's what Yankee called him, Chode. I'd say he called him to his face, but he didn't because he didn't address him directly. He said it to Eric. Said he didn't want to talk to Chode while
Yankee's
Chode
quite
was
a
standing
character.
there.
Have we talked Yankee on this show before?
I don't think so. I'll probably invite him on sometime, and if he ever remembers, he might come on.
I highly doubt that.
That's a big ask.
I think I forgot to come on the chat tonight.
Well,
Which
you're here
chat?
now.
This one?
Yeah,
Well, I
almost didn't
reminded
make
you.
it.
You were here before me.
Yeah,
Because I forgot to post the link in the Discord. And there's a link to the overnight Discord in the description for this video. It's a place you can come hang out, chit chat, talk about guns, talk about whatever. It's kind of like how would you describe Discord?
Totalitarian rule by a few people and a bunch of lowly users with no power. Sounds about right, right?
Well, I wouldn't have quite put it that way. We want to make it sound fun.
Yeah, in all seriousness, it's just like a private Facebook, I guess you could call it. It's pretty fun.
It is. It's kind of like texting with pictures. Which I guess you can text with pictures. But I can't remember how I normally describe it.
It's like paging with pictures. How about that?
Oh, I think normally I say it's like a group text.
it's like an IRC server, but with pictures and videos.
TPC Cooks is saying Discord, the incel geeks last bastion of recognition. Yeah, there definitely are some Discord channels that would fit that. Woods is saying some Discord servers are way too complicated. That also is each one's a little bit different depending on who set it up. They set it up the way they want it.
My goal was to make it complicated when I set that up. So xenomorphs. So we talked about what you would do for one. What would you do if you had to fight 100?
Find 100?
Yeah, flamethrower
Well,
Yeah.
and run.
Would claymores work against xenomorphs?
Not if they're on the ceiling.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Not if they're in the ceiling. Yeah. You remember that scene?
Yeah.
10 meters, 7 meters, 3 meters, 0 meters. Where they're right above.
So,
them.
do you think the sequel was better than the original?
I think they were two entirely different movies.
Yeah. I think the sequel is more watchable for multiple viewings.
I agree with that. And then all the movies that after the first two, I thought weren't very good. Well,
They're still fun to watch, though. Except for 3. 3's not fun at all.
Which one was
version of E3 did you watch? Did you watch the original or the
I've
the,
seen
redone
the
one?
director's cut and the original.
They completely changed that movie.
Yeah.
Which
what
was
it?
the prison one?
Those 3.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I thought it was garbage.
And they killed the kid and Michael Bean in like before the movie started. That was that was a poor choice.
So Woods is asking, would you rather fight 1,000-pound bunny or 1,001-pound bunnies?
1,000-pound bunny.
I would rather go against the 1-pound bunnies, the 1,000 of them. Now I'm not advocating for stomping on bunnies. I like bunnies. I used to have bunnies when I was little, but the 1 pound bunnies would be a lot easier to handle. He
What
just
if
might
they're
get.
the Monty Python type?
Well, he didn't say that. Then you
Well-
run away. Run away.
A single bunny at 1,000 pounds is like half of a horse. I feel like that's more manageable.
Yeah, just
What
go
if
climb
he-
a tree or something, right?
If he's got the teeth.
I have not had success rattle canning rifle because I haven't done it yet.
I've been meaning to rattle can some guns for like a year and a half. They're still in the raw.
I thought about doing it and just couldn't bring myself to do it. I've heard, I watched a video, I think it was a video, where somebody said if you bake, even if it's like Krylon, if you bake it, it helps harden it. So it gives it a tougher finish. That was Colostomy Bag. And also out there is AAF, American Ammo and Firearms.
I don't know if I want to rattle can my shotgun. It's blued and it has some nice engravings on it. I don't know.
No. Woods is saying he's rattle canned a bunch of shotguns, and yes, bake it.
I don't think my
My
shotgun would fit in my oven.
my AR-15 though, it is jumbled up of different brands, parts, and receivers, and all those things. It's gonna get rattle canned at some point.
Yeah, because I wanted to do kind of an 80s woodland pattern. A little bit bigger pattern to it rather than the more modern. Just kind of nostalgia. But haven't been able to bring myself to actually do it.
And what for the shotgun? You're gonna do that?
For an AR.
AR?
Yeah.
You got one in mind?
Well, it was going to be one of the ones I had, but more modern gear, not the like the A2 style, old school A2s. Oh, lost where I was. There we go. And Pocono Joe said, I reblued a gun of my father's that was rusty for a surprise for his birthday when he was younger. And he almost shot me with it.
That's not good. We got gun websites in the show. I don't know if he heard the question we had earlier about xenomorphs.
Yeah.
No, I was
Can't-
watching my email, so I had to get DJ to give me a link. I just got it.
Candace had asked what gun to fight a xenomorph. One that I forget how she put it. Basically,
You can
one
purchase.
yeah, readily purchasable.
What's a xenomorph?
The alien from the movie Aliens,
Oh,
the black shiny ones.
something that you can just buy?
Yeah.
Maybe the P90, like the one with no barrel and full auto, and then a lot of those magazines with ammo.
So you're only fighting one. Do you
Yeah.
still want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did that. That
I
was
think
kind of
that's a lot of rounds, and they're little to get into it because I don't think anything big's getting into it. I don't think those are going to get into it, but I don't think anything big's getting into it.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking something with the 5.7 round at the beginning, and then I ended up kind of with a shotgun.
Oh no, I don't think a shotgun will go near one of them aliens. Don't they got like an armor skin? I was thinking more of the acid bullet. Like, what can you get in that gets past the acid bullet or the acid blood?
Uh,
So I don't know if anything's going to really hurt that thing too bad. I think that's why it's got the acid blood, so that anything that does penetrate it melts.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
pick
a
the-
tungsten slug.
Yeah, maybe like in a shotgun with a tungsten slug that can get through that.
yeah, it's like
See, then
some
I
of
go back
the
to you need something like more like a needle. But I don't know. I don't have any idea what they're made out of.
like maybe one of those goofy Russian slugs.
Oh,
what's
wait, you're
his-
talking about that thing that looks like a weird claw or something that like has almost like a mechanism to it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, those are
Woods
pretty-
is saying 4570. The 4570, is it the was it Henry that I think it's on the 40 or 4570s that they listed for
T-Rex.
T-Rex, Tyrannosaurus Rexes.
I think that was Marlin, wasn't
Was
it?
it
Because Marlin had the gun in Jurassic World,
Oh, yeah, that's probably that then.
and they were selling that model, saying you could get a T-Rex with it.
How's it going, DJ?
It's going well. Grab some cookies and milk. Somebody ate all the dip.
Oh,
Hey. No, glad to be here.
yeah, Woods is saying it was Marlin.
Oh,
Pocono
should we do
Joe's-
Predators now?
Oh, I think the Predator.
That's tougher.
Yeah, because the Predators hunted the Xenomorphs.
For fun.
Closby Bag is saying 22 250 or 338. Yeah. I think they came in after we had kind of talked about the needing something probably more maneuverable than like a Barrett. So like a bolt gun at distance, maybe, but once it starts getting up close, I think you're going to be in trouble.
For a Predator, I would want an AR-10 with the 243 barrel thermal scope on it.
There you go.
PNW Woods is saying Danny Glover killed one. Yes, but he killed one in a crappy movie. Predator
Yeah.
2 was awful.
Didn't he kill it with its own weapon? Am I remembering that right? Like that
I don't remember.
knife
I've-
thing?
I've tried to forget that movie.
Isn't Bill Paxton the only person that's been killed by an alien, a predator, and a Terminator?
Eh,
He was killed in Predator 2. He was killed in Aliens, and he was killed in the first Terminator. He was one of the punks that Arnold stole all the clothes from.
was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Woods is saying a ballista, which I think you're only going to get one shot with a ballista,
Yeah.
so don't miss.
Are we
Imagine
talking
trying to
about?
reload that.
Are we talking about the medieval ballista weapon or the FN bolt action rifle?
He did not specify. I was
Well,
talking medieval
specify.
because that's what I thought of when I saw ballista. Pocono Joe saying he used the Predator's weapon.
What did Arnold use? I can't remember.
Well, Arnold got him to blow himself up.
But how did he beat him? The last thing I remember is he set the trap. Predator was coming down into the trap, saw the spikes, touched them, and then walked around to the other side. I don't remember what happened after that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Pocono Joe saying he used a big rock.
Mm. Yeah, I completely forgot about the rock. So DJ, you got an answer? If you had
Well-
to pick a gun that was readily available today to fight xenomorphs, or one xenomorph, what would you pick?
Wow. Xenomorphs are not really, they're impervious to so many things. The only thing that they're sensitive to is temperature, isn't it? So like oh wow, but it's got to be in a firearm form? Something that shoots frozen bullets? Not sure how to answer that one quite yet. So I guess I'll go with something from the tactical quiz, except this time I'm going to go with the MP5. Just figure like lots of 9. Maybe it's not impervious to 9. What do you think?
Might work.
Yeah.
You get the eye roll and the EU coming out of Foss.
I mean, the MP5 is iconic, and I have always loved the look of it. Never shot one. Would love to someday shoot one, but I don't think you're doing much with a 9mm.
It's done some incredible things in film history, though. So maybe I'm going with the dark horse candidate there.
That's a good question. Has anyone killed a xenomorph in a movie with a 9mm? Because there was the Alien vs. Predator movies that took place in like the 2000s, right? Somebody must have killed one with a 9mm in that movie.
Actually, I am a bit of a fan of the first couple of Alien films, and read some of the comic book offshoots of that, and they did battle the Colonial Marines, as it was. Did battle with them. It's sad that it was more than 20 years ago that I read those titles, or I might have a better idea.
Yeah, there's some fun stories. I read a few.
I read some of the Predator, Dread versus Predator.
Ooh, I think I have that somewhere.
I think
Judge
I do
Dredd?
too.
Judge Dredd versus Predator?
Yeah,
Is that real or is that some kind of fake thing?
it was a comic book.
Yeah, but I mean from
Probably.
AD 2000 or like
It was kind of when they started reprinting the comic books, kind of mid 90s.
So it was from Europe?
No, U.S.
So Predator bought Judge Dredd off of them. Judge Dredd's from England.
I don't know. It's upstairs, so it'd take me a while to go find it.
I just never even, I guess I wasn't paying attention at all when that happened because I didn't even know about, I never even heard of that one. That sounds interesting. Did Predator come down to, he just came down to that world? Judge Dredd land? Crazy. I don't know how I guess he could hang out in a mega city.
That was the first Judge Dredd comic that I had read. I didn't realize how violent. I don't know if because I think it might have been more of a graphic novel, so it was a short series. So I don't know if it was different than the regular comics.
That was a Dark Horse imprint, wasn't it? Dark Horse Comics.
Judge
don't
Dredd was
remember.
never a regular comic though. He was a giant, like 82,000. If I remember right, was like size of Shotgun News. It was like a big thing. It was bigger than a regular magazine. Like I don't know what to call that size paper. Big.
Tabloid.
I think this was
like an Enquirer. Yeah.
this was like a one-shot crossover.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, it says Dark Horse. That's the United States, right?
Yeah.
Because Dark
Dark
Horse also did They did a Spawn too, didn't they?
Mm.
Or was Spawn someone else?
Spawn
That
was
was
Image.
1997.
Image
Oh.
Comics, yeah. It's a McFarlane product.
Man, we're
3
getting real
issue
nerdy.
miniseries. It's going to happen when you talk about Judge Dredd.
What do you think, Judge Dredd? What is that? His gun called?
Oh,
It's like Liberator or something like that, isn't it?
That'd be good for the tactical quiz.
Oh, yeah.
that's close. I can't remember what it is either. Lawgiver.
Lawgiver.
That sounds
Lawgiver.
really familiar. Yeah.
How do you think that would do against Xenomorph?
Oh, that would win.
Yeah.
Was it got it in here?
That had like all kinds of selectable cartridges and stuff, wasn't it? You could call out specific ballistic styles of of stuff to throw down range. Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
pretty badass. Maybe that's where you get the freeze ray, the freeze bullet, or something like that.
A pistol programmed to recognize as palm print and capable of firing 6 types of ammunition. Oh, I guess that's it. I'll have to find it somewhere else.
So you'd probably have standard AP. What else would you get?
Like some sort of flechette
It's-
round.
There was a
Yeah.
grenade for sure. And then,
Maybe like an incendiary.
well, I think that they could put other stuff in there. So it was like they'd have it on their belt and they could put it in there. So it was like a shotgun or something where you could have a bunch of different shells, if I remember the comic, because they use different things in it.
Yeah, in the
What was it?
Stallone movie, he only used 2, maybe 3 different rounds. Types of rounds.
You've seen the other one, the better one, the newer one?
I haven't.
It's definitely better.
Better than I am the law. Although that one had Max von Sydow, which
Would it have been better movie if it was Frank Stallone?
is he singing?
Yeah.
Oh my!
Okay, here we go. Standard execution, a standard bullet with identical effects to a normal kinetic energy projectile weapons. A heat seeker or a hot shot, which is a standard bullet propelled by the unstable element Argon 886. Heat seeker rounds lock onto a target's heat source, enabling the judge to target fleeing perps, accurately fire in low light situations and whatnot. A ricochet, a metal bullet coated with rubber, can bounce off of solid surfaces while retaining enough kinetic energy to penetrate flesh. An incendiary, capable of setting its target on fire. Armor piercing, extremely dense, contain a more powerful charge. And then a high explosive round containing an amount of extremely concentrated high explosive. And then some stories have a stun bullet, which didn't always work.
So Candace, do you want to talk about this?
The Auto 9 replica.
Yeah.
Yeah, Collector's Design Works made that. They actually, you used to be able to send a one of the M992 variants in to get it converted to this, but I don't see it on their website anymore.
So if you had to get a 9mm for a Xenomorph, it'd be this, right?
If I had to get a 9mm for a Xenomorph,
Yep.
it would be the CZ Scorpion. The new Scorpion, not the original.
Is it just me, or does it seem like the trigger is pretty far back? Seeing as the hammer's down.
Uh,
Why is the mag sticking out? Is that normal too?
I think it's an extended.
maybe it's just needs room for gloves.
Wasn't it a 3-round burst in the movie? Am I remembering that right?
In
Some
RoboCop?
Yeah.
He shot whatever many rounds he needed. If he needed 4, he got to shoot 4. But I don't think it was. I mean, it was shooting bursts, but it's probably safe for his giant finger glove or his giant finger of his glove.
Gunmetal guys out there, good evening.
He also uses a big metal glove that he would need a big trigger guard like that for.
So what would you do for 1,000 xenomorphs?
Leave.
Nuke from
Go
the
to a
upper
different
out.
planet. Figure out
I
if they
said-
need a pet.
I said flamethrower.
Ooh. Yeah. See, thermal susceptible to thermal changes. Good call.
Set the building on fire or something. I don't know. It's not good options with that. Candace, did you answer that one?
I
For
think I
1,000
agreed with you
xenomorphs?
on the flamethrower.
Yeah.
Because as fast as they are, you're not going to be able to shoot all of them.
No. Especially when they're crawling all along everything.
Yeah.
So what about something like the deep sleep gun from Logan's Run?
Ooh. Nice touch.
Fires a solid projectile, 120 rounds, I think it said, 300. It's like 300 yard, 360 yard range. I forget what the rate of fire is. Anybody
I
see
haven't seen that
Logan's Run?
movie.
Oh yeah. It was awful slow to fire. It wasn't like one round after the other. Kind of didn't it take a little while for him to like launch out? I remember there being like quite a pyrotechnic coming off the like the size of the barrel and stuff.
I'm not sure because they didn't. It didn't have a high rate of fire in the movie, but I don't know if that's just they didn't use it that way, or if it's kind of funny in the picture. You can see the crimp plug. It's the kind you get at the automotive store, hanging off the side. But it's got a flash suppressor. Gas feed tube.
It's kind of three-way toggle switch on the bottom. What does that say?
The ignition.
Oh, geez. So multi-stage to fire.
Well, I don't know if this is supposed to be how the gun is, or just this is the how it was built for in the movie.
I see. Well, if you have access to plans like that, how about one of the plasma weapons? If I can interject, like I would go after some xenomorphs with, say, like a Wookiee bowcaster.
So
That's like,
we're deviating from like the question I asked to just like any weapon. I want the BFG 9000.
From the video game or the movie?
The video game one. It will take out anything within the field of vision.
Well, what about the BFG from Doom?
ooh, that's pretty damn deadly.
Yeah, the BFG 9000. That's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I forget if that was. I think was that in the new movie. I don't remember that movie too well.
Well,
The new movie? I
it's in the
no
video
idea.
game.
There's like Doom. What was the subtitle for the new movie? It was
Doom 2, The Cash Grab.
I was gonna say the exact same thing.
Doom Annihilation. It is. It's a very interesting movie. I didn't find it like to be good. I didn't enjoy it like because it was a good movie or even a good Doom based movie. I enjoyed it watching it as a B action film. I found it absolutely hilarious that the main antagonist in the main protagonist in the movie was using a Walther P-22 to shoot interdimensional demons and blowing, baseball-sized holes in them.
22 is the most deadly caliber of all time. Did you know?
I don't know, maybe it bounces
FBI told me
around
that.
inside the demon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen the movies. I just remember from playing it on like a 486.
So many
Yeah.
hours in the gaming chair doing that.
I think I'd pick the noisy cricket from Men in Black. That'd be
Nice.
fun.
I don't know. I kind of like the DJs, the Zork gun from the Fifth Element.
There is the portable rocket launcher from Mercenaries. Just fire nuclear warheads at them.
That would work.
Well, then you can the one from Starship Troopers.
Ooh.
The Redeemer warhead launcher had remote control missiles. That would be an idea too.
It'd be really difficult to learn the manual of arms for something like that, let alone the one I propped in the back chat of that the Zorg rifle from Fifth Element. That thing was pretty badass, though. Did a
Well,
lot of things.
I forget the name of the alien species that were buying them. If they could use them, anybody can use them. Just don't push the red button on the side.
Yeah, fair.
There's a one in Real RoboCop where RoboCop comes in towards the end and he's gonna go up the building and he has to get past all the Ed 209s. So he pulls out a BMG and he blows away the top end of Ed 209 with it. So if you remember that, he's got basically looks like a 50, but it's called a Cobra assault cannon. And at the Ed 209 that's down at the bottom of the stairs or the bottom of the building at the door, he blows everything but its legs away with the one shot from that Cobra assault cannon. That's
Is
like
that
just I'm shooting.
Is that the same gun they shot him with, or did they use
In
it?
the first
remember.
one.
Oh, it could be. No, it could be because it's the same gun that the bad guy has it in his car or something. And he shoots a car with it or something.
Well, he gets shot in the scrapyard.
No, I think you're right. I think it's that same gun. I think he shoots a car and then he shoots RoboCop with it. So anyway,
Oh, okay.
I just was looking at a list of guns. So that's the first one.
Same director as Starship Troopers, right?
Verhoeven.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some violent movies. Yeah, he did. Verhoeven did Total Recall too, didn't he?
Yep. That's a fun movie. What actually happened? Was he actually a secret agent, or was he dying in the recall machine?
I took it more at face value where he was that secret agent.
So did I. Yep.
But yeah,
Here's-
when he ended up on the surface of the planet and his eyes bulged out, they don't go back in your head. He would have died there.
Here's what makes me think he actually was stuck in the machine. before he went in the machine, they asked him what his ideal woman would be, and he described her, and then they had an image of what it would be, and it was the same exact actress as the one that shows up. So how would that happen?
Coincidence.
I'm pretty sure he died in that machine.
I had a roommate that we'd argue about the he said that that the oxygen wouldn't stay on the planet because there's nothing keeping it on the planet. It would float away.
Eventually, yeah.
And I just said, well, our oxygen doesn't just float away.
You don't know. I think there's a certain point where if you don't have enough gravity, it escapes into the vacuum of space, right?
It's a possibility, yeah.
Which makes no sense because there's more gravity on the planet than there is in space. No, I'm not a scientist.
This
Anyone
whole
here got an idea?
conversation, this whole conversation is above my pay grade and ability.
So Candace, before you take off, is there any last words you have?
No.
All righty. Well, have a good night.
Thanks for coming on.
Go
Thanks
easy.
for having me. Later.
Yeah, I do not believe Mars has an atmosphere, but yeah, I think that's Pocono Joe saying the machine would have to create an atmosphere as well. I think that's what it did when it melted the ice.
What are we talking about? What machine?
Oh, Total Recall. Have you seen Total Recall?
Which one? The good one or the other one?
The original.
Of course.
So when the alien machine melts the ice.
Yep. Now I got you.
Seven Wonders is out there. How are you doing, Seven Wonders? Good to see you. Yeah, I didn't watch the remake.
The remake is bad, but have you seen iRobot?
Yeah. Awful movie.
Imagine what?
It was not a good movie.
All right. I'm not going to say it's a good movie, but the special effects in iRobot were freaking amazing.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Like those
Will
robots
Smith
in
was-
iRobot. I don't like them. I don't like the robots in iRobot, but I mean they made them good, and they're like the iPod of robots. I don't like them, but you know I wouldn't buy a robot like that or have a bunch of robots like that. Or if I did have a bunch of robots like that, I wouldn't like them. I'd have other robots that are cooler. But the special effects and the cars driving on the wall, I think that's the thing. Or am I thinking of Minority Report? But anyway, that one was a good robot movie. But yeah, the movie itself, they ruined the book. I mean, I'm not saying it's the book. No. But and it's not a good movie. But I watch it all the time because of the robots in it. Anyway, those robots, imagine if they looked like cops and they were cop robots. That's what the new what did you just call that? Dang it. The movie we were just talking about, the new one.
Total Recall.
Sorry, thanks. So the new Total Recall, they fake it. It's bad. It's not going to Mars anymore. It's going to the other side of the Earth through a tunnel through the Earth. Like, where's that come
What?
from? It's not even right. It's like stupid. They just ruined it to ruin it. But it's just like iRobot. There's these awesome police robots, like, and they're also going in a ton. Instead of everything that's in the first Total Recall, in this one, it's a guy who wakes up and he's going in a tunnel to the other side of the earth to make robot cops. Like, because it's so difficult to have factory workers in China, I guess you have to import them through a tunnel, and then when you get in this bus, it takes you into the center of the earth, and then you have no gravity while you're at the center of the earth. And then as you pull out the other side, your bus flips over, and now you're going the other way, like an elevator going up instead of down. Stupid. So, and
Yeah,
they go
none of
all
those
the-
ideas makes me want to watch this movie.
Oh, it's bad. And it's supposed to be a comedy, I think. Somehow it's a comedy.
And it's
But-
PG-13.
Oh, it's not good. But the robots, when they start to fight the people, it's like iRobot, except the robots are cops and they're running around swarming on the guys, just like in iRobot, except that they probably use the same robot software or whatever.
Do you know why they did robots?
Oh, because it's probably cheaper or something. I don't know.
To get the PG-13 rating.
Well, what was it in the other Total Recall?
Rated R.
But I mean, a bunch of people. Oh, you mean
Yeah,
if they
he-
kill robots, it's not violence?
Yeah, just like Star Wars, you can shoot people with a laser blaster, and it's not violent.
Oh,
Like
I
those are
didn't
rated
know that.
PG.
Oh, I had no idea about that.
Ozzy Osbourne's out there barking at the moon.
Oh, I thought he was barking at a banana.
Hey, it might be. Yeah, when iRobot came out, I overheard two guys talking. Well, dude telling his friend that Will Smith was going to be in iRobot, and the other guy's like, "Can Will Smith even spell iRobot?"
I'm pretty sure Will Smith's pretty smart.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Because everything he does is he's the French Prince of Bel Air or whatever.
Yeah,
Did you ever read iRobot?
I did not.
Oh, okay. So it's not like you're a fan of iRobot and you just didn't
No.
like that version of it. Because the iRobot is Isaac Asimov. And I don't know, has anybody
Yeah.
read Isaac Asimov?
Yep.
Right? Like,
Not me.
he's awesome. Oh, he's awesome. Like good stuff. Good stuff. And iRobot's like one of his number ones. So that movie is nothing like it. I don't even know where they came up with that movie. But at least they made a movie of Isaac Asimov. So
Yeah, if you dig
Roseanne,
robots,
Rosanna, Hannah.
Asimov is like the pioneer of robot sci-fi. All the great stuff is there. People riff off of his stuff, like in all generations since.
Well, he came up with the the 4 rules for robots?
Yeah,
Not to kill humans, and then whatever the other 3 were.
well, I mean, there was other people technically who came up with robots or automatons or whatever the hell they called them back in the black and white movie days. But Asimov is the one that brought it to whatever we know about today. Is everything is from Asimov. Everything.
Did they really do that? Playboy?
I have no idea.
So quit showing it or ever show it?
Quit showing it.
I don't think they ever did.
I think Playboy was more of like a side shot, not a.
Yeah, Playboy is like boobs and girls laying there. Like
It was
Wow.
supposed to be the classy
pictures almost. Yeah.
magazine. Now I got sidetracked. I don't remember what we were talking about. I was thinking about.
Anyway, think about Playboy now.
creating atmosphere from descending alien machines into frozen subplanetary strata. That's where I think we left off eventually at some point.
Would you rather fight a predator, a xenomorph, or get thrown onto the planet from Starship Troopers?
Oh, those bugs you mean?
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's interesting. Well, I don't want to have to, like, if you got to fight the other one in some kind of arena and just die, I'd rather go on that planet, I guess. But if it's like get thrown on a planet with one of those three things, shit, I don't think you're screwed in every direction. The only thing you
Yeah.
might be able to do is reason with the predator one, like be like, hey, I'll show you somebody else you can predator or whatever, or hunt. But like the alien's killing you and those bugs are killing you. Like they don't care. They're killing you.
Yeah. Convince him you're a lame prize, and who's the better prize?
Yeah, exactly. You
it'd
could probably just be really lame, and Predator would be like, "Oh, there's no honor in killing this one." Like, just be
Yep.
really weird in front of them. Oh, I know. Just carry a 9mm. He'd be like, "Oh, this is not worthy of hunting."
Yeah, there's no honor in killing a guy that carries
There's
9.
no honor in killing this thing, the baby of this planet.
Yeah, I had a question, and then I just forgot what the question was.
Was it pre-muff or post-muff?
Post. It was just before you asked your question.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was now.
Something about movies or something about something else.
Yeah, it was something movie.
I
Kind
was
of
just
which would you
looking at a
rather have or
graphic over
do?
here, like supposedly the number of what are they using? Joules, energy of devastation in joules, right? And then they say that it starts with that sonic gun from Minority Report, that weird like thing that cranks up, kind of pivots, and then it shoots like a sonic, right? You know what I'm talking about?
I
The
don't
Minority
remember.
Report. He's got.
I just
they got-
remember Tom Cruise, the video board, the aliens in the pool, and
right.
the
that movie.
hooping balls. That's about it.
The people run around. It's the future, and everything's like softer. So they just have these like hand crank little gun things that kind of go and they kind of rotate around, and that charges them up, and then they shoot sort of like a stun gun, and they just knock people over. They don't even kill you; they just knock you over. So that's what they're saying is the least amount of joules at 252. Then they say that Golden Guns has 700, and then the Blade Runner is at 1400. The Blade Runner gun, and then they've got the Terminator 2 sawed-off shotgun at 3700 joules. So if a sawed-off shotgun that we know about, a normal sawed-off shotgun, is supposed to be at 3700 joules, they've got a Aliens Marine pulse rifle thing at 14,000 joules. That Lawgiver from Judge Dredd at 17,000. RoboCop's at 17,000. Martin's gun from Bugs Bunny at 18,000. So all right around the same place. And then the next thing that I've heard of before would be the Fifth Element at 32,000. So twice as powerful as RoboCop gun or Judge Dredd. Right? I'm with all that. Like I could hear all that, right? And then you get Proton Pack, the ghost gun from Ghostbusters. That is 10 times bigger than Zorg. So that's 300,000 joules. Right? A stick of dynamite is 1,000,000 joules. And a phaser from Star Trek is 1,100,000 joules. Does that make sense? Optimus Prime blasters are 33 million. So like 33 phasers from Star Trek is Optimus Prime's blaster. Megatron's is even bigger at 41. So Optimus Prime's blaster isn't as big as Megatron, but Megatron turns into a gun. They're saying the Jaeger from Pacific Rim is bigger than Megatron at 55,000. And then they're saying that Johnny 5 shoulder laser is as big as that Jaeger at 55 million.
Which one is Johnny 5?
That's that
Johnny
stupid
5 is
short
alive.
circuit movie from back in the olden days.
Short circuit.
Yeah.
Well, whoever put that together, what's their
Oh,
accreditation?
I'm not done. It's still going. So now they go the arc gun from District 9. So when he catches his weird bug hand, he can shoot that gun. right? The arc gun, the alien gun from District 9 is 70,000. So that's more than whatever that last one was, Megatron, like twice as big as Megatron, the Arc 9 from District 9. The AT-AT, the guns on the AT-AT from Star Wars, 75 million, right? So the arc gun from District 9 is basically as much as an AT-AT. They say that a lightsaber is 1,600,000,000,000. So basically way bigger than what the AT-AT is blasting out. So that a lightsaber could absorb the AT-AT's thing. And then the only thing, well, there's stuff bigger than that, I guess, but they start turning into like, that BFG that Candace was talking about, I think, from Doom. Right? That's bigger than a lightsaber. That's 7 lightsabers. That's 7 trillion, whatever we're talking about here, units. Tesla's death ray from that Nikola Tesla made. I guess he invented some kind of giant death ray. That is 13 trillion, so it's even bigger. And then bigger than that at 42 trillion is the nuke from Starship Troopers. So 42
I'm questioning the veracity of this list.
You think that's too much already? And then it
Yeah.
gets to our Fat Man and Little Boy, which are quite a bit bigger than the mini nuke from Starship Troopers.
What about the wave motion gun from Star Blazers?
And this isn't like it's just a PDF. Here, I'll show it to you. It's on a thing called Daily Infographic. I'll put it over here if you want to screen share it. Or I guess I could screen share it. But it does. I can't search on it. So what's it called again? I just have to look for it.
Wave motion gun?
Is that something somebody holds, or is that something?
No. It's basically the Yamato, the Japanese warship, was resurrected, made into a starship, and they were given the wave motion engine to power the ship so they could make it to this far off world in a year, there and back. And it also can produce an energy discharge.
I didn't think I seen it in here then, because everything basically below a lightsaber is, except for the AT-AT, was like the thing you can hold or whatever. Nothing that big. I don't know. What I don't get about it is it says that Han Solo's blaster is more than like a lot of this stuff, like bigger, many times bigger than an AT-AT. How could Han Solo's blaster be way bigger, way more powerful than the giant cannons on the front of an AT-AT? That part makes no sense.
Was the difference between like an ion cannon and something that does plasma? Or is like ion bolts less powerful?
I can't even
I'm
imagine.
confused.
No idea.
I love this. They have a bone from 2001: A Space Odyssey on here.
That's on the low end. Yeah.
Yeah, remember the beginning of that movie with the monkeys? Or apes.
For sure.
But they got 2 guns lower than that. So that's why I was like, what is this, a joke or whatever? But then like I don't know what half of these things are also. A lot of the stuff, I have no idea what it is. Like lightning rifle from the Matrix. When do they have a lightning rifle?
When they're in the real world. Remember on the ship?
No. They had rifles?
Well,
they
it was
shoot
a piece of
it was a-
equipment that
To shoot off
discharged.
the bugs or whatever, the electric bug or the mechanical bugs or the mechanical
remember
squids or whatever they were?
The traitor, Cypher? The guy with the
yeah, I don't
the
think
guy-
it was a gun. I think it was more just equipment that discharged, had an electrical discharge that he used.
Okay. The guy that got steak or whatever.
Yeah.
Steak. Yeah. I don't remember. I don't know. I just watched The Matrix not too long ago. I watched all 3 of them, and I don't recommend it. It's worse when you watch them after not watching them for a while. You're like, oh man, why did I do this? Because you remember things that are like, oh, it's not that bad. And then I watched it, and I'm like, oh man.
Wait, they made more than one Matrix movie?
No, there's only the one.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, just the one. And they made the Animatrix. That's good. I really like the Animatrix.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see the Animatrix?
No.
You like animated movies, though, right?
Yeah, I know of it. I just never watched it.
Oh yeah, highly recommend it. I think it's 3 or 5. I can't remember. And it's like watching a graphic novel. They took 3 different directors or 5 different directors and said, do some story and make it in the Matrix world. Just they have nothing to do with anything except for it's in the Matrix. But they're all coming. Maybe they have something that ties them together, I guess. I don't remember. But just really good animation.
Oh, I was. This is a non sequitur, but Aeon Flux. So I think it was on one of your polls. She dies in every episode of the cartoon.
I think that's a part of it, though. Like, she doesn't exist, right? She's either, I don't remember anymore. She's an AI or she's a clone or something. But that's been a long time since I remember. But that was, holy moly, I think that was like high school almost, right?
Yeah,
Flux
Liquid.
was like one of
That
the
was
first
90s.
cartoons,
Because
wasn't it?
I first saw it on Friday Night Flights on NBC.
Oh, no.
Back
I
when
see
they
it
did
on
videos.
It
I see.
launched on MTV's
It was on MTV. Yeah.
Liquid Television. Yeah.
And we knew Aeon Flux from comics or something because we were like, what? They're going to make an animated? So I don't remember where it was from originally or where. I'm almost positive we knew of it first and then it was animated, but it could be the other way around. I really don't remember. It was a long time ago. So I get Optimus Prime's being way bigger. I don't know what that Cowboy Bebop is, and I don't know what that other Transformer one is, but you know, Megatron's got to be more powerful than Optimus. That makes sense. That makes no sense having Johnny Five be anywhere near there. And I don't know anything about Doctor Who.
Tripods.
Did you like that War of the Worlds with what's his face in it?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that new one.
I liked it when I saw it. I'll never see it again.
Hmm.
It's one of those ones that's frustrating because I don't care about Tom Cruise either way. If he shuts up and just plays an actor, I don't care, right? But he's usually in good movies, so that's the thing. Like, I'll deal with him because he's usually in a good movie. But that stupid kid of his makes me, I can't stand that movie because of the stupid kids.
The daughter or the son?
No, the kid, the boy, because the kid's a little girl is a little girl, but it's like one of these movies where I don't know what they're trying to prove, but the teenage or whatever he is, like young adult son, just does stupid shit the whole movie, and it's just frustrating and annoying. Like,
Yeah, he wants to go join the fight.
Yeah, he just gets in the way and he doesn't learn anything. It's just stupid. I think he dies or something, right? It's just a shitty movie. But the aliens are kind of neat. Wait, were they? No, I think they were kind of neat. They were like tubes that came in and looked at you or something. Nah, now that I'm thinking about it, I would not recommend watching it. It might be worth seeing if you really like robot movies or you like the first one, I guess. But now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't that good. It was basically Tom Cruise running around with his daughter, like ineffectively trying to get his kid to not be an idiot the entire movie.
The Mega Maid can suck up your atmosphere.
Oh yeah, that's what that thing did, right? Is like suck the entire planet of an atmosphere. That's got to be massive.
Switcher from suck to blow. Yeah, that was a funny movie. V'ger.
Although the original Star Trek movie was not good, but I liked the concept of the Voyager and the sentient robots, basically, society.
I think it would have made a good 2-part episode for a new TV series. I didn't like it as a movie. But
It was hard to sit through. Even loving those characters as much as I did, as anticipated as it was, yeah, that was a long payday coming. Probably the best thing about that film for me was experiencing it in a very large theater with an incredible sound system. Those low bass plucked notes as they're like coming through to it. That was pretty fantastic. but also indicative of the pace of that movie. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But put us to sleep.
I watched a 5-hour long movie about sci-fi. I mean, it took a while because I didn't watch it all in one sitting, but it was, I think it starts at the black and white original sci-fis, and then it basically goes through the sci-fi of the 80s, maybe the 90s.
But I think the Wrath of Khan, it's one of the few sequels that are better than the original, and one of the greatest movies, one of my favorite movies of all time.
You're gonna
Definitely
hate my
outstripped the
answer.
original. Oh no, what is that, Baron?
My favorite Star Trek movie is Star Trek Generations.
Oh man.
I would put Undiscovered Country above that.
Captain on the Bridge, Bridge on the Captain.
Every Next Generation movie, they crash the Enterprise.
In one of them, was it Generations where they all died when they crashed? They like blew up.
I don't remember.
They separated the dish from the engines, right? Then they crash landed and blew up. Then they time traveled through that stupid ribbon. That's a bad movie, but it's my favorite.
About the best part of that was the Dr. Soren character played by Malcolm McDowell. Like I really like him, all the way from Kubrick's Clockwork Orange to that one. I really enjoyed that guy as like a villainous character.
Yeah, well, he's one of those guys who can act, Well, I was going to go off on a tangent because the British actors tend to be more stage actors, and it's a different style.
They chew the scenery, so to speak. They really get into it.
Yeah.
I did like that he wasn't like a monster of the week. He's just a human.
Yeah.
Bad guy.
And
I was looking up that movie. What bad guy are you talking about?
The character's name was Dr. Soren. I don't know how to spell the damn thing, but Malcolm McDowell was the actor who played him.
Well,
in Star Trek.
Kirk was originally supposed to be shot in the back, and Shatner refused to die that way. He wanted a more grand send off, so you get that little fight scene where he gets crushed.
Bridge on the Captain.
Yeah.
So you guys are talking about Star Trek, and that made me think of this thing. I watched this 5.5-hour documentary. It's called In Search of Tomorrow. It's a Kickstarter project from this year. It ended I don't know when it ended. It's still being updated, but basically they raised a bunch of money, almost $1 million to make this movie. And I didn't realize what I was getting into when I started watching it. And it starts, I thought it was just a documentary about sci-fi movies, and it kind of is. But anyway, I know I've heard a bunch of this stuff that you're talking about with Star Trek in this movie, but it was like drinking from a fire hose, so I can't remember any of it. But I guess I'm mentioning, if you're really into sci-fi movies, you might want to check out this thing called In Search of Tomorrow, because it goes from the beginning of the 80s to the end of the 80s, but it'll also like group them by directors or by space movies, because it's 5 hours long, so it goes into all different, as it slowly goes from the beginning of the 80s to the end of the 80s, it'll keep mentioning stuff. So when it talks about Star Trek, it might take a sidetrack and talk about, and it was something like in that first one, the director was like really into music, and he thought that because, who was the guy from Star Wars that did all the music and everybody thought it was great?
John Williams.
Right. So I think what he thought was like, I think if I'm remembering it right, he thought, oh, people like music, except he didn't get it, and he made it like just sitting there watching music or whatever, and nobody did like it. But then they overcorrected and went the other way, and then they kind of. That's why we have the alternating good and bad Star Wars. All the even number ones are good.
Do you have a wrench, G-Webs?
Oh, I don't know. You mean,
Leave a comment. That
no,
I put the link for that Kickstarter out in the chat. You can drop links like that if you want.
Okay. All right, right on. I don't know anything about it other than I watched the movie, and then I was like, oh, who makes a 5.5-hour movie? And it was just, you could tell they were really into these movies, because it's a lot like a conversation that you'd have with somebody who's just a nerd about these movies. And you could kind of tell it was made for like YouTube or something. Like it was made on it wasn't bad or anything. And it wasn't like amateur, but you could tell it was made on like a computer and not like the fanciest computer software ever. It was just made. But man, it was actually pretty neat. I mean, you'd have to watch it dozens of times to get it all. And I don't know if there's like a table of contents or something that you can zip to the parts that you actually might have a question about. But lots of. Have you ever heard of the guy from The Thing? Is that John Williams? The guy who did Escape from New York and The Thing?
John Carpenter.
John Carpenter. Like that guy, I never knew that guy made his own music because he was just cheap and it was easier to make his own music. And then that turned into a whole thing, like his music. And then they got him in there talking about that. And that's the kind of stuff that,
Big Trouble in Little China theme. That's him.
I didn't know that at all.
All of his music is him. He made every
He's in the video for it playing the bass.
Every single thing. And he made it all on that like synthesizer because he was like basically just poor and was like, well, I could hire somebody to make music, or I could just figure out how to make the music. And so he would just like made it all on a synthesizer. And then there's like an entire, I think, synth pop or something, or synth wave. I think it's synth wave that is because of Carpenter. Like there's an entire type of music where people just make John Carpenter-esque musics.
I remember it being oversimplistic, but still effective. But when I think about like epic, and I'm not trying to derail into the music portion of this, but we're still talking about sci-fi. Blade Runner, the Vangelis that he did for that, that was great. That really, really matched what I think was one of the better portrayals of the all too common dystopian future. That really helped to set the scene. Coming into that, when they're doing the flyovers, the initial telling you that it's what year of the future it was. Standing at the back of the auditorium, having departed another film, and just popping in to see what it was all about, and it was incredible. So dim.
If you get sick of this, let me know, because that just made me remember. But in the beginning of Blade Runner, when they say stuff, everybody hated that. But I guess the company that paid for Blade Runner was like, nobody's going to know what this movie's about. You got to say what it is. So they had whoever the director is, I forget who the director is, he wrote something that was bad, and then he told Harrison Ford, read this like really stupid so that they'll never okay it. So it was a bad like script, and he read it all weird, and they were like, okay, that sounds great, go with it. They're like, dang it. But
that's exactly what happened.
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott, there you go. And I had heard that as well, and now it's impossible to dissect, to like separate the two for me. I can't imagine it without it. Maybe I'll have to soundtrack it without that.
I've seen the director's cut without it, but I don't remember because I've seen the other version so many times. That's what I remember is the original version.
And
yeah, I've only seen
so you're
the
saying
directors.
Basically. I don't know. I've only, I guess, remember the first time I seen it. I don't know if I've ever went back and really watched it. I've just seen so many pieces of it.
Well, Foz, you have a better memory because I've seen the director's cut version probably half a dozen times, and I couldn't remember that there was that difference in them.
Did you watch the sequel?
No.
Was that like 2049 or something like that? Blade Runner 2049?
2? Something like that.
It's only like a couple 5 years ago, right?
Yeah, I think it came out in 2019.
Oh, is that a sequel? I've seen that one.
Yeah.
It's different, but I thought it was just the same movie again.
And Harrison Ford is in it at the end. Yeah, it's 2049.
doing the old guy waddle.
He didn't mail it in my opinion, but
Well, it's just tough to watch. You know, the action stars are tough guys that you watch growing up, and now, you know, you see them doing movies where they're still supposed to be that tough guy, but they got that old guy waddle where they walk like they're a little bit bow-legged and wobble. That's, you know, supposed to be intimidating.
you know, I think he had broken his leg on the set of Star Wars and been in a plane crash right before he filmed this.
Oh,
Well,
shoot.
I mean, it's not just him, but you look at De Niro. De Niro does it.
Don't
I
get
know
me
what you're
started
talking
on
about.
him.
Now that you brought him up, I'm picturing that waddle in particular. Yeah,
Yeah.
De Niro definitely has it when he's trying to like hustle around. You know, as a matter of fact, grabbing a movie that they're both in, Pacino kind of has that too. In
Yeah.
Heat, yeah, where the hips just aren't what they used to be. Guys have been jumping out of jumping around sound stages far too many years.
So let me throw in. We'll do these commercials. We used to do them on the overnight, but the overnight is kind of, this is more of the fun side, and the overnight is going to be more of the serious side. So we'll run this commercial here. You know, Excite.com could have bought Google for $750,000, I think it was, and they turned it down.
Wow.
Yeah, but they've got a really nice way to rescreen a door that is effective, and it only takes like 16 steps instead of the 18 steps you normally have to take.
You ever
I
seen
just-
anyone do that?
Yes.
Do a screen door? It's been a while. Not like that. Like definitely a dog or like a little kid, but not a grown
Well,
person who just closed it.
Had a roommate do that. We're barbecuing grilling some stuff, and he went to go outside and forgot to open the screen door. But that partly was a break so I could stand up, because I sit on a padded bar stool, and so I ended up sitting on my tailbones if I sit for
Ouch.
too long. So yeah, I want to get one of those fancy, nice, comfortable chairs, but it won't really fit out here. Maybe someday when I have a den and I can.
Build a Yankee gun room studio.
Yeah, it probably will never happen. Have
That
you?
thing sitting up in the air, or is it because it's like a garage with a floor or something?
Well, it's because I'm in a garage and I'm sitting at my workbench.
That's what I'm saying. So you're up higher than a regular like desk office chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'd recommend is a lab chair if you have access to them. That's what I get at the U of A. So it's think of like a shop stool, right? Something that you're standing and you can just sit on instead of sitting down onto. And they're a step of, they're basically like
Oh, I
a
gotcha.
shop
Yeah.
stool except on wheels, and they've always got 5 or 6, and that's what I sit on, and I can get them at the U of A for $5. So I just use them until they break, and then I go grab another one.
$5?
I can
Auction.
get chairs for $1 and $5 for good chairs. Yeah, at the auction, because U of A is crazy and they give away everything for nothing.
Yeah, I'll have to look into those. I just looked up pictures of them.
I
You know,
mean, I've
this
got
is-
some really nice ones. I'll take pictures of them one day.
this is fine for when I'm doing projects or cleaning guns and stuff, but when I'm sitting for the chat, then it's
I've got like that ring around the bottom where I can step on and go like this, like I can step up on it, like
Yeah.
a bar stool has, except it's springy like a I don't know, like a good office chair, I guess, or like a good don't know what to call these things. They're not like a school chair, but anyway, they're decent and they're just way taller than a regular chair. So you're up in here.
Yeah, I think I'll go get one of those. Because I've got this, and then I've got like a metal one, and this is a little more comfortable than the metal one.
Oh, and then the other thing is it's got like a very small back. Like it's not a big, giant, obnoxious back, or like a bar stool sometimes has like a big back. This is like just enough to give you some support if you lean back, but it's mostly for like leaning forward doing work or whatever.
Yeah.
So it ain't the most comfortable, but it's like a step above like a stool.
No, I think that would be for doing the chats. It'd probably be a little bit better than what I got now. So now I think I killed the chat.
What were we talking about before this? Star Trek?
Star Trek.
What's your least favorite? Generations?
Oh no, the one that's a space station. I never watched that one.
DS9. That's my number 2 favorite.
Most people love it. I never even watched it. It's something about that one girl and something else. I hated that one.
Which the number
chick?
2?
I don't even remember. No, I hated somebody
Kira?
in it, and then so I was like, I'm never gonna watch it. I was also doing like real life stuff. Like it was never gonna work with my life at the time. Like, it might have been like I was in basic or something. Like I wasn't watching TV whenever it was on, and I never went back and watched it because I didn't like somebody in it. But I know a lot of people think it's the best one, or they're one of their favorite.
I like the premise of it being, it was like static. I mean, the station was in orbit, but I liked it. It was like, on the edge of the known Star Trek universe to that point. You got to meet a bunch of different alien species.
I like
the whole-
Cisco.
Cisco was good.
Captain Cisco.
It is
It
kind of
was.
cool that it's a space station, so they can just hang out
Mhm.
and be in a place, and everybody else comes to them. Well, I'm
Did
sure
I
everyone
s-
would fall into something or get smashed or something, right?
Did I say the next generation or did I say generations?
That you didn't like.
You said Generations.
Okay. Yeah, so I wasn't saying the show is bad. That's a good show. The movie that kicked off the new generation cast wasn't very good in most people's
I
opinion.
didn't care for pretty much any of the Next Generation versions of the movies.
First Contact? Fighting the Borg?
First Contact was better.
Ooh,
but-
here's a quiz. What is First Contact Day?
I don't remember.
I don't remember the year, but I do remember the day.
When is First Contact Day? Like the day the movie was released?
No, when the Vulcans come to Earth.
Oh,
So whenever I took the tour of the Titan II missile, you can take all different kinds of tours. At least back in the day, you could take different tours, and I took the one that takes you everywhere in there because I wanted to see as much as it possibly could. When you go underneath the missile at the very bottom and you look up, there's a sticker or something on there that when they filmed whatever you just called it, what's that movie? First Contact?
First Contact, yeah.
When they filmed that movie, it's filmed there here in Tucson in the silo, and they left one of these stickers on it because they're all nerds, right? Now, like, we're going to leave that on. So that's pretty neat. And I was like, I'm going to go home and watch that movie. It took me a while because whenever I did that tour, there might not even been Red. What was that called? Netflix, I guess. No, there was another thing where you got the movies in the mail.
Seven Wonders is saying that he liked everyone in TNG except for the doctor that replaced Crusher for that year. The doctor started with a P per something. The Lady Bones.
oh yeah. Or no.
The next generation is Picard and Data, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
April 5th, 2063.
Few years to spare.
Well, that's annoying. Nobody on Instagram even mentioned that. I didn't see anything like that. And I follow
Paul-
like a couple of space things and airplane things.
Pulaski was her name.
There you go. I could picture her, but not the name.
That's sexist.
I thought Phlox was a better Doctor than she was, and I really didn't like Voyager that much.
I
Because
I
you're
like
sexist and you don't like the idea that a captain is a woman.
no the
I mean, I'm not a
problem
biologist, but what I think it might be a woman.
the problem I had was she was a plucky female captain.
Yeah. Kate Mulgrew. Yeah.
You know, every time I see her, I picture Mrs. God, what was the? She was in another TV show.
That's my problem. Anytime I've seen an actor in something before it, especially if I didn't like it, then I'm ruined. And I'm like, dang it.
She was in Mrs. Something. I mean, she's not. She's not a
One thing
bad.
that
She's not a
Well,
bad actress, but just the way she played the character.
yeah, my favorite that she was in was Orange is the New Black. Actually, I thought that was her best role to date.
Never
Mrs.
saw it.
Columbo.
Was that it? Yeah, I think that's it.
That was a series. Mrs. Columbo, was it like Columbo's wife or something? For real?
Kind of.
Oh wow, didn't know.
That's what I would think of when the show first came out. That's what I would think of. And she hated 7 of 9, the actress. Jerry Ryan. She hated Jerry Ryan.
She have good reason, or
As far as I can, from what everybody said, it sounds like it's just she's the young big boobs that she didn't respect. Which I couldn't stand 7 of 9 character. The idea was okay, you know, the kid that was captured,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't like the character.
Okay, you know who Janeway was? She was the major in Remo Williams. She was the girl major in Remo Williams.
I don't remember the major. I remember Remo Williams.
I'm pretty sure that that's the love interest in Remo Williams. I'm going to look. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the love interest in it. She looked a little different because she was way younger.
She was in it. Yeah, that's her.
Because I knew that there was something I'd seen her in. Oh, yeah, definitely. And maybe not just Remo Williams, but when I look at her now in the trailer to Remo Williams, that's how I remember her in Star Trek too. I was like, I'd seen her in way too many things to be a starship captain. But I got over it. I didn't mind it after a while. At first, I didn't like her in it.
I did like the relationship between the two guys. I don't remember their names. The Asian dude and the other dude.
You really paint a picture.
Yeah, the one guy and the other guy. I don't know their names. 'Cause I didn't like the show.
so best captain is Kirk, right?
Yes. I would put Cisco as number 2.
Yeah, since Cisco is just a commander of the station at that point, we have to refer back in canon to when he was like, what was the ship he was captain of? The what? Wolf 549 or whatever it was.
I don't remember.
Because you said captain, so you kind of got to take him out of the running, Foz. But like, I'm right there with you though. I would put him as my number 2. Kirk is the first. Picard, yeah.
Sulu.
Sulu
as a captain kicked ass, I thought.
Oh, okay.
You mean in the new movies or back in the day?
Back in he was I forget which movie, like 3 or 4.
Oh, the movies. Yeah, no. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of
He
the show.
he
Okay,
he captained his own ship, and I thought I loved him as a captain.
I like seeing them in the movies when they went beyond their ranks and were older and like got their other duties or whatever, and that kind of stuff was cool.
Here's a
Instead
good
of,
question.
like, they're all just doing the same job as old people or whatever, because that's unrealistic, right? They would have all gone off and done things.
If you're a
Pocono
crew member, which one is more likely to get you killed as captain?
Kirk.
Oh no, one of the chicks, because she's going to park bad or not be paying attention, looking at her phone or whatever.
Excuse me.
Didn't
I'll-
Picard like lose half
Yeah.
the ship to the Borg?
Oh yeah,
He
Picard's
became a
definitely
Borg.
gonna- He'll go right over to the Borgs as soon as they're
He
near
was
him.
Locutus.
I wouldn't get along with Picard very good at all. I'd probably go on whatever trip Riker's going on or his wife, hang out with them.
Yeah, pretty much. If you were a red shirt in the original, you were dead.
Oh, I'd
Like
never-
if you couldn't find somebody in the hallways, to like trade tunics with, if you were wearing red, you were just dead in the original.
I'm getting one of them yellow shirts, just go around fighting everybody.
Yeah, it was Undiscovered Country. He was captain of Sulu was captain of the Excelsior.
Excelsior, yeah, good one.
Yeah, the USS Defiant kicked ass.
I don't know enough about them to keep track of which Enterprises are which, let alone all the other ships. So
Yeah, the Defiant was purpose built, had a cloaking device to fight the
Romulans,
Romulans.
no
the
from the Delta
Kardashians.
Quadrant.
Cardassian.
No,
Q?
for the love of God.
The Borg.
Come on. The Borg?
Now you're fucking with. Now you're screwing with
It's
me.
all- come on. The little, there's some kind of insects. The fluffy things.
The
Tribbles?
The black and white people.
hey man, I've only had 2 hours sleep in the last
Star Trek has too many enemies.
25 hours.
Making too many enemies. There's hardly any Star Treks where they just hung out and had like a good time with people.
The Dominion. It was purpose built
there
to
you
fight
go.
the Dominion. So it was
Alright.
all muscle and cloaking.
Oh.
And
See,
Yeah, I never watched that show.
Yeah, I can't keep track of who they're friends with when and stuff. I thought the
oh,
Klingons were their enemies, and then they're not, and then they brought in other enemies, and then they're friends. So I can't keep up.
because there were two in the I think there were only two in the Defiance class.
Well, I keep putting up the thing about Star Trek versus Star Wars ships, and there's the whole thing about their teleporters win over all the stuff Star Wars has.
Well, yeah, the people say, well, you just teleport a
Right.
torpedo over there, blow them up. But their shields are better, their lasers are better, or phasers are better than the lasers. But they're different universes.
Are they?
Yes, they are.
Well, one of them was at least a universe long time ago and far away, and the other one is in the future, I guess.
But it's another galaxy, not a different universe.
Oh, yeah, that's true. In a galaxy far, far away. And the thing is, Star Trek goes all over the dang place, and Star Wars goes all over the place. It's not like Star Wars is just hanging out in one little quadrant or something.
And E.T. was in Star Trek or Star Wars.
Star Wars. Yeah, he was they were in the council chambers. You really have to look to find them. You have to know where they are.
I
to
thought
see
he's
him.
also in one of the ships in the one where Yoda is in the back of a ship, those goofy looking helicopter ships. And I thought there's an ET in one of those too, hanging out. You know that
Besides
movie I
a
just
neck that
that giant movie, that long movie? I was just trying to think because there's like so many Easter eggs in movies, because back in the day, those dudes put so many Easter eggs in their movies that there was something else there that I was trying to remember that they put in. Some of them are crazy too. If you just watch the movie slow, then it'll, like as they go past something, it'll be like, Pac-Man is there, or like, just
A shoe, a potato.
yeah. Well, more like like.
Well, no, there is a shoe and a
Terminator.
potato in a Star Wars movie.
Oh, okay. But intentionally, like they put it there to
Yeah.
mess with people. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's in
An
the
asteroid field.
asteroid. Yeah. The Millennium Falcon is in Blade Runner. It's one of the buildings.
Really?
No
Yep.
way.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna have to give me a minute drop. You have to give me a timer on that. I gotta go check that shit out.
I can find the photo of it and pull it up.
Right on. Yeah, when you were talking about the Defiant, I was trying to think of something that was in the Star Wars universe that'd be close, and Millennium Falcon had popped into my head. It's like extra shielding, the way it jumped around, it was like super hopped up, and not what was necessarily expected, and was made to dance around what the Corellians or whoever else. Plus, put in just an incredible Kessel runtime of it.
You've seen the new Solo movie, right?
It
Yes.
sucked.
Gross.
Well, I mean, the production had problems from the get-go, and then they ended up bringing in Ron Howard to reshoot half the movie because the director didn't know what he was doing. And they halfway through the movie, when you have to give your lead actor acting lessons, there's a problem.
There it is. That's the Millennium Falcon as a building.
Holy hell.
Wait, where? What's happening?
So is that like an ILM prop or something that they like put into the escape there?
Yep.
Wow.
And it's just you see it in one of the tracking shots when they're going through the city.
The-
I don't know the
the-
timestamp, but
The power of the geek that picks that up in an establishing shot like that is hardcore. They're just like going frame by frame by frame by frame, digging for those Easter eggs. Hell, that's a good one.
Well, I know. I don't know. I don't recall if I ever knew that was there. But that scene, there's you can see the video board to the left. It's an ad with a geisha in it.
Okay. That gives me a place to drop. Cool.
it'll depend on which version you're watching too. The timestamp.
Okay.
Wow.
Should we run it into the dirt?
Well, I had something I was going to bring up, and then I got sidetracked there, so I forget.
Well, like the saucer section, like they did in that one planet, whichever one of the Next Generation films that they did that in.
Yep.
Like all bracing for impact and shit, like burrowing across the cross. That was funny.
Yeah, that was a brutal scene. I remember watching that on VHS and be like, they just killed everyone.
Yeah.
Pink Panther saying, I always thought Voyager was the best ship, especially after it got adaptive shielding at the end. To me, the Voyager always looked like a frog, and I could never get over that. Have a good night, Seven Wonders. Thanks for dropping in.
Have you seen these posters that are out there that have all the different spaceships in scale to each other?
Yeah.
If I had, some place to do that or whatever, that'd be kind of cool to have. I don't know. Maybe the way to do that would be to have some sort of like, eventually when there's some kind of projector or something to like just project that on a wall. and have that kind of thing be in some kind of a projector with a scale, or maybe look at it on a, I don't know, like an overhead projector kind of screen or something, so you could zoom in and out, because that's something that the scale is so big, compared to like an X-wing and what are those giant things, the Star Destroyers or something that look like a big V.
Yeah,
Like-
and there's like the Super Star Destroyers, and then there's bigger ones now. Like I think Thrawn's ship is even bigger than a Super Star Destroyer.
Yeah, exactly. And there's even bigger stuff than that in all the universes, all the different shows. So that would be neat, though, to be able to get something that you could zoom in and out of, but then have it like the size of a movie screen or like the size of a wall or something, so you could actually. Anyway, I just think that would be neat how that would be in the future. But looking at those posters is kind of cool, because just seeing something like the Enterprise versus some of the Star Trek stuff or Star Wars stuff, and then like compared to some of the things like Hitchhikers or some of the other movies, Starship Troopers, always kind of interesting.
The goddamn bacon brings up Rogue One. I loved Rogue One. I thought it was an awesome movie.
What do you say on there?
I have not seen that one.
What?
Out
You
of
can
the
fix that.
out of the new Disney ones, it is the best.
That's the best Star Wars of all the Star Wars. Seriously, that's Star Wars.
Wouldn't go
The
there.
only thing the old ones got going for them is we seen them when we were little kids.
What?
This one is the best Star Wars.
Keeping them in reference to their time, they were groundbreaking when they came out, and that's how
Yeah.
I view that.
Yeah. I'm not taking that from them. They're Star Wars, but Rogue One has Darth Vader in it at the end, so it's Star Wars.
Yeah, that was awesome. That hallway scene, that I used that hallway scene here. I got that.
Oh, dude, you gotta go watch. You mean you like Star Wars, right, DJ? You don't hate Star Wars or something?
Oh, I love Star Wars. Absolutely.
Come on.
Yeah.
It's really the best Star Wars.
Here's the
Telling
here's
Mike.
the hallway scene I made for
Are you about to
Takeover.
ruin it for DJ though?
I'll
Well,
look away.
I don't think you can ruin this. I dig it every time I watch it still, and I've probably seen that like 13 times.
Well, I meant since he hadn't seen it.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, he doesn't know where. Anyway, I think he's still good. Then, well, he'll come back and be like, "Oh, that was a great movie," except for where it was ruined.
I closed my eyes. So I think I heard some things, but yeah, nothing more than blaster fire.
Well, even on that, the soundtrack for that is out of sync with the actual video, the way I cut it up, but it still fits somehow.
It's kind of
Yeah,
the
kinda-
crescendo of the movie, right?
It's the perfect tie-in to A New Hope.
Hmm.
Wait, New Hope is what we used to call the first one, right? Or I guess it always has been
Yeah.
New Hope. That's like episode 4.
Well, it was just
Okay.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Originally.
Well,
Was for us.
Star Wars: A New Hope.
Was it?
Yeah,
I thought it was just Star Wars when it came
Star
out.
Wars: A New Hope.
I can
Yeah, wasn't when
remember.
it scrolled across when that scrolled up the screen, it did say I remember A New Hope, but did it say the episode number at that point?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Oh
think
wow.
so.
Okay.
No, I
okay.
can remember as a little tiny kid playing with Star Wars figures and playing with this one kid, and he'd be going, "Oh, there's going to be 3 Star Warses," and I'd be, "Shut up, dude! Like, no, there was going to be 3 Star Warses." So that kid knew that when we were little kids, when Star Wars before Empire, this little kid knew that Empire and the other one were coming. So somebody must have known something back then. Told this little kid.
Pocono Joe is asking, "Isn't Mando in Rogue One?" No, he's not in Rogue One.
He can't be. Come on. It's like before his. Oh wait. No. No, Mando's the same age as Boba Fett, huh?
What was the question?
Something about
Mando-
Mandalorian.
Isn't Mando in Rogue One?
And Mando's the same age as Boba Fett, basically, I think, according to that show. Maybe a little younger.
See, that's one thing I have not seen, and I tried to avoid. And then when they went to second season, I was going to go and watch the first season. I have seen none of the Mandalorian stuff. So like only the pop culture references, like Baby Frogurt or whatever. That's the only thing I know
want to
about it.
watch it, but I'm not going to pay for Disney Plus, and I don't want to do the other way to watch it.
Yeah, I hear you.
On principle.
No, it's getting weird the other way too. It's getting really weird, FYI. But the one with the Baby Yoda is nowhere near as good as it could be. And then they made the Boba Fett one now. Book of Boba Fett. Has anybody told you about that?
Nah.
So they made
I've stayed out.
Baby Yoda one, and it's Baby Yoda and that other guy who's basically a ripoff of Boba Fett. It's basically like
Django.
It's
Or
like
not
if
Django,
Boba Fett was every day, every single day, and then the one with the Baby Yoda was just on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then sometimes on Wednesdays and sometimes on Saturdays. It's that kind of version. So, there's the Boba Fett show comes along, and then there was like one episode with Boba Fett, and it's like the worst version of Boba Fett getting out of that big worm he fell into ever. Like the worst way you could think of him getting out of that worm ever. And then if I remember right, every other episode of the Boba Fett show is the Mandalorian guy with Baby Yoda. Like Boba Fett ain't even in it. I think he shows up at the end and goes like, "Remember, I'm in it," and that's it. He's like not even in it.
Yeah, I never understood the obsession with Boba Fett.
He's freaking awesome.
Dude, cool as hell.
Yeah, but
He's the best Star Wars figure.
then you explain all of his backstory and take his helmet off, and
No, that part's horrible. Yeah, that part.
yeah, that's what I mean. I liked it better when he was dead.
Well, I knew he
He
wasn't.
slowly digested over
that
10,000 years in the Sarlacc pit or whatever.
That's a giant worm, but he fell in there with a bunch of armor, so there's no way he's dead. You knew the
He
story.
died of humiliation from the way he fell into that pit.
And screamed, and he screams too. He's like, ah!
Yeah. He should have been dead. Forget about him. He was good in that other movie. Yeah.
Well,
I think
it was
also
it's in one of the books.
We've seen I never seen books, but I did look at other kids' books at school or whatever. But I don't think I ever had time to read them. But I think it was I was going to say, I think it's the Star Wars or the Christmas show or whatever, the cartoon that had
The Christmas special?
Yeah, because we all seen that. I mean, pretty much everybody, if I remember right, was like, you know what, we're not doing anything because we're all going to stay home and watch that. Like, it was like, I remember the parents didn't really have much choice. Like, you know what, we're watching the Star Wars Christmas special and that's it. So everybody I know watched it. And you know what I'm saying? Like, because there was no VHS or you watched it or you didn't watch it back in those days. So everybody watched it. It's like, that's what I'm remembering. So we all knew who Boba Fett was. And then when Boba Fett was in the movie and you barely saw his foot or whatever, I think, right? Like you barely see his foot and that other guy makes a noise. Then everybody had the Star Wars figure. That's how they got us. They're like, whatever that's called, just giving you a taste. They got us. They hooked us.
Tease.
Yeah.
I didn't see the Christmas
you're right.
special. I still don't think I've seen the Christmas special.
I mean, you can only
It's
see
pretty
it
bad.
one time. It's horrible.
It's
But you can only see it
it's
for
really bad.
It was like watching a McDonald's TV commercial from back.
It has Art Carney in it.
Oh my God. Okay.
Who's Art Carney?
He's
Exactly.
he's the peddler guy that sells them all their junk. That's Art Carney. He was in the Honeymooners. He was the skinny guy in the Honeymooners.
Mhm. Harry and Tonto.
Man,
Mm-hmm. Man, I would have ranked myself as a pretty strong Star Wars fan, and now you guys are like throwing all this stuff out there, and I just have missed apparently half of this stuff. You mentioned the books there. I was way more into some of the books. And
I
I
didn't-
just,
I didn't read any of the books, and I don't think most of them are canon anymore. Because
Yeah.
there's a book where Princess Leia opens up
whoa.
a school for Jedi.
oh yeah. One of my favorite
Yeah.
books that included her was one where it was she and Luke together. It's called Splinter of the Mind's Eye, and they end up on this like bog planet, kind of like a Dagobah planet with these little greenies. That's what the characters are called. they're subservient to the Empire. They've been like taken over, and they have a final battle with Darth. And it's one of these things where it's, there's a crystal shard, almost like dark crystal, that's in it too, glows purple and whatever else. But yeah, I had one of those embossed paperback covers, and I was just like moth to flame, snag that up. I probably read it like 20 times when I was a kid.
Another thing, you think those were one of the books that they would have at that deal where they would set up a bunch of books, like a little mini bookstore in your gym, and then you'd have to go down there and buy books off of them for school?
The Scholastic books.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. This would have been more. This would have been like at a minimum, like not young adult fiction. Would have been like for folks older than kids.
Well, but I'm thinking that's where I remember those Star Wars books coming from, and they were like basically comic book paper, and then they were, I don't know what to call those, like the size of a paperback except thinner. But
I can remember the ones you're talking about, like Star Wars Storybook or something like that. It was like a larger, like Scholastic books. Yeah, these were regular paperback novels.
It basically wasn't a comic for sure. It was a freaking to read it, and that's why I was like, I'm not reading. I'm not buying a Star Wars thing. You got to read. And I forgot what I did buy, but it was back in the day. We would, some of us bought this, some of us bought that, and some of us bought the other, so that we wouldn't, so we could buy more stuff basically. So then we would just trade or read each other's shit, if whatever. And I just never got the Star Wars stuff that I remember.
I would always get the Choose Your Own Adventures.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the TSR titles. Yeah,
that was definitely what I would get. I had a ton of those. Did you see that movie, Bandersnatch or something?
Who's Snatch?
There's a movie on Netflix. If you got Netflix, you can watch this movie called Bandersnatch or something like that. And I've only seen it the wrong way. Like I've only seen it all laid out, so it's horrible. It's like reading a Choose Your Own Adventure straight through. It's horrible. But in the real thing on Netflix, you're supposed to be able to choose. It'll be like the guy wakes up, and then I think his dad comes downstairs and goes, "Do you want some cereal? Do you want like marshmallow cereal, or do you want corn cereal or whatever?" And then whichever one you choose, it's Choose Your Own Adventure, and you're off. And it's awesome. Have you seen it, Baron?
Yeah, I've seen it.
In the Choose Your Own Adventure way?
Yep.
So they tried to do that in a theater with movies.
How the heck would that work?
You had a little ABC button,
a paddle to vote. Oh wow!
Poll or whatever.
I don't think it made it very long.
Because everybody got up like, fuck this, I'm leaving. I wanted to.
Yeah, a bunch of irate patrons. Not the way I wanted it.
Did you watch it on that way, Baron, on Netflix?
Yeah.
How cool is it? How do you get to choose? Like, how does it ask
you? Use your remote. It's like you press left or right,
and it just goes right in. Or it doesn't really even matter because you can pause it then, right? Like if you wanted to go to the bathroom or something, you can just leave it on one of the stops.
Well, it doesn't really stop. If you don't choose, it'll automatically do another choice.
Oh, okay. But I can't imagine. I need to get somebody with Netflix or something so that I can experience it. Can you still do it, or is it just for a limited time you could do it?
I think so. They actually have other ones that do that too.
Oh,
There's
really?
Other Choose Your Adventure.
That's all I would be doing. If I had Netflix or something, that's all I'd be doing because I think it seems like that would be the future of it. I don't know how the heck they film that, but it is neat. And I don't know if I want to spoil it for y'all, but if you ever have any interest in seeing it, but it's of all the topics they could have come up with for a Choose Your Own Adventure movie, they picked the right topic. Sounds crazy. So I've only seen it all laid down. So I've seen every permeation of it, which is lame, but I haven't seen it where I get to dig in and choose my paths, which
I canceled my subscription back when they lost that big block of movies. They just didn't have enough to make it worth it.
They were like competing with Disney or something, and Disney was like, "Hey, why don't we just take everything back?" Or Sony or something.
Yeah. I loved when you get the physical DVDs because you could get some, old titles, like the old Kurosawa movies, like his original movies.
Yep, I got it.
You couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah, Kurosawa titles were hard to nail down before some of that. I mean, every 3-4 years, somebody toss on Kagamusha or Ron. I mean, Ron, didn't that win like an Academy Award? Came out in like the early 80s. That was like impossible to screen. Even here in Omaha, one theater had it. Yeah, one of my favorite directors of all time.
Yeah, I
speaking of-
saw I, one of the ones I rented just because I was renting everything was Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter.
What?
It was like made on like $1,000 budget, you know. They're filming in the park, and you can see everybody else laying around in the park watching them film the.
All the best bad B movies.
Yeah, it's like a C movie.
Total failing grade. But like we were just riffing on the Pick a Path adventure stuff. Do you guys remember the video game, the stand-up
Dragon's
video
Lair.
game arcade Dragon's Lair? Yeah.
Yeah.
That was heavy at the time. And
I sucked at it.
No, I
So did
couldn't.
I.
I've never seen the first two screens, and nobody I knew could get past it. Nobody could afford it, so we only ever
Yep.
seen the first couple of screens.
we would hang out in one of the larger arcades in town just watching the arcade masters toss quarter after quarter after quarter into that thing, and you just like stand transfixed because it was so cinematic. I mean,
I guess
its representation on the screen was incredible for that time.
Yeah, I would assume it was something where if somebody knew what to do and could play, then other people would come up and pay to keep them playing because everyone was watching it like a cartoon, right?
Like tipping for entertainment purposes. Here, keep going, man. Keep going. We want to see this.
Yeah, I was a
Like
button
putting
masher.
music in the jukebox because somebody else is dancing good or something, right?
Yeah, for sure.
CNT Designs is out there. Good evening. I did, I was a button masher, so like Galaga, I
master?
did well at.
One of my favorites.
I would
Galaga.
I would, if anytime I saw that all the high scores weren't mine, I would clear out everybody else. Galaga and Choplifter was the other one that I could do that on.
But that would take you like whatever that was, 10 games to do it.
Yeah.
Defender. The Williams games were really, really good. And Robotron. Yeah. Bunch of those. Loved them.
Couldn't you just unplug the machine?
That always pissed me off because then I'd have to go through and then put my name back on all
Well,
the
no,
scores.
then you'd only have to play one game.
No,
You'd be
because
top.
it would. Well, no, every single listing would be my name. Well, it would be DMF. That's where my YouTube name comes from. That was my gaming name. But no. So if there was like 10 slots, every slot would say DMF.
Had to be that way.
Yep.
Right on.
I did not allow anyone else to have a high score.
Disallowed. What about Joust? Like, it's been way too much time trying to figure out how to make those silly ostrich things fly. It was a good time though.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you remember like Battle Zone?
The tank one?
Yeah, what I liked was the Red Baron. The same graphics, but you're in a biplane.
Yeah.
You're talking about the Atari cartridge that had both of them in there.
Now we're talking about stand up or
Yeah,
arcade.
the arcade.
I feel like that was in a cartridge that had both of them in there.
That could be.
That was Combat. Combat had you could do tanks and you could do planes. It was like a sortie of 3 jets versus a big bomber.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Combat. That was the one that the 2600 came with. The base model came with that one cartridge.
Mhm.
But
Hey,
Battlezone
if you
was
have
Go ahead.
if you still have a 2600, if you play Space Invaders, when you turn it on, hit the reset at the same time, and you put out 2 shots.
Really?
Yep.
I've got a couple of 2600 consoles.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I basically rolled the score over because of that. You go up to level 99 and then it just stays at level 99 and you keep playing.
So is that a bug or some Easter egg?
I don't know if it was a bug or if it was, because like the God mode and all that is the developers will use that so they can go in and try out features without having to play the whole game.
Yeah, and they'll put stuff like that in there so that they can tell their friends, like, oh, you want to get better here, just turn it on and do this, and then you can play better.
All right, Foss, you're apparently the video game king in this chat. So tell me, fact or fiction? Mario can jump over the damn flagpole.
Over? I've
Yeah.
never seen it.
That was the legend. Neither have I. I've heard so many people say that it's true. I've never seen it done. My brother tried for years and years and years to do it.
It could be, that you just have to hit that perfect spot and it'll do it. But I've never even heard of anybody doing it.
I know how this happened. Some arcade owner came up with that so you'd spend more money.
Nice. Yeah, a fool and his money are soon parted. Eh?
You can in Super Mario 3, when you get the shoes, when you beat the game, you can. When I beat the game, I had basically unlimited the flying shoes,
Mhm.
so you could just fly through every level.
I did not play into that one. I barely played the first one. Just that many years older than you.
I beat them. All the ones that I played, I beat. Yeah, I was not good. It took me a while. But up through Mario World 2, which I didn't really like because you ended up on these small balls and had to run around them, and I didn't like that as much.
I played Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was a glitch in Donkey Kong also.
I
But
played Donkey Kong on I can't even imagine how many different things. I'm thinking maybe 5 different things, computers, like different machines.
yeah, there's a glitch that would happen now and again where when you're climbing the vines and the birds fly across, they would glitch and not move, so they'd stay at the edge of the screen. I don't know if that was just our
Birds knock
cartridge.
you down or something?
What's that?
Did the birds knock you down or something?
Yeah.
I guess I only remember going up the ladders and the Kirby ramps or whatever they are.
CNT Designs is asking, what's the best actual arcade game you guys played?
Spy Hunter,
Tomcat.
where you sit down in the car in Spy Hunter.
Tomcat, you sit down and it moves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to go with Tempest. That was my favorite one of all time. Tempest.
You know what? For a minute, those ones with the Uzi in them look cool, but but I don't think the Uzi moved that much, so it couldn't have been that cool.
They tilted back at like top, up and down. I don't think did they even track side. Maybe they track side to side as well.
They must have, right? Otherwise, it'd be
Yeah.
boring.
That
Always
was
like
pretty.
Pac-Man.
Guns are kind of cool sometimes. Where different games had different guns that you have a cord or whatever, and you pull it out of a holster looking thing and shoot at the screen.
Yeah, there was
Cool.
one where the slide moved, so you got that little bit of recoil feel.
Yep, I played that one too, but as an adult. So, Baron, did you say Pac-Man?
Yeah.
Right on. Absolute classic. Could there be any other? I don't remember the first time I saw a Pac-Man machine, but I remember the first time I saw Ms. Pac-Man because we had spent so many dollars on Pac-Man the original, and Ms. Pac was in the lobby of a small chain box store, and we were damn fixed. Yeah, amazing.
Did you play that? It was an arcade game. It was Lunar Lander.
Yeah.
So you just had your throttle, and then you had a button so you could abort. But
Yeah, that was a really early one too, and reminded me a lot. Well, and like
Game right there. That is literally the first video game they made with a screen.
oh yeah,
Show about it. I mean, that's a version of it. Yeah, the first video game they ever made with a screen with a terminal was using what do they call that? Gravity logarithms or whatever to make that. And all the nerds would sit around trying to land something. And that's when the guy from Atari was like, people would pay for this, but that was like on a multi-million-dollar computer in the 60s. And then the game you're describing, though, is that game. And then at the same time, concurrently, the other guy from Magnavox or whatever was figuring out how to use an oscilloscope to make balls move for Pong. but the first game was that Vector, basically a version of Asteroids, except what at the center of the screen was a planet and you had to land on it, right? I never played it, but the way you described is the same description of that other game. The first game.
Yeah, Asteroids was so annoying for that same propulsion. It wasn't just a hard line push. It was like tap, 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 and then as soon as you got going too fast, trying to do that quick reverse and go back out of there. Nope, you're going for hyperspace and blowing up on a rock. Damn it.
Yeah, I kind of miss the arcades, the old arcades where it's way too loud, hurt your ears when you were done, but
Mhm.
you go in and lose yourself and all your money.
So where were your arcades? Ours were like usually in the front of a movie theater. Like
the
a
mall.
the place right in front of the movie theater would be a arcade, or I guess at the one there was 2 movie theaters, so somewhere right in the middle there was an arcade. But I never, like at one mall, I never went to the arcade. I'd be scared shitless to go in there. And then
Yeah,
the other,
the movie theater games always sucked. They weren't good games, but the arcade had all the good games at the mall.
Yeah, ours, we had a regular bricks and mortar called Gizmos that eventually spread into 3 different locations. The mall one was not the popular arcade here in Omaha. It was Gizmos. They had one in the old market, which is like wasn't at that point as much as it is now a tourist district, and the other 2 were just kind of satellites before places like, I don't know, like the Chuck E. Cheese's and the other arcades, combo arcade things. W.C. Frank's, it was like a hot dog place that had video games as well, but just like the regular just video games and pinball tops too. Damn, the pinball machines.
you know where else miniature golf would have video games?
Yep, I remember that as well. Putt-putt.
What about bowling alleys? We had the bowling alley had
Yeah.
Video games, and then roller skating rinks probably had them too. I never went to a roller skating rink, but I bet you they had them.
Yeah, first time I played Tecmo, the football game with trackball on it. That was at a skating rink for sure.
The goddamn bacon's asking, has anyone ever played the modernized version of Defender? I have not.
Well, speaking of like the pool or the bowling alleys and stuff, we would have pool tables also. So did anybody ever do the deal where you go rent a pool table and just play pool? Because that's,
Yeah, for sure.
I remember doing that probably for me more often than the arcades, because I knew of arcades, but as you guys are talking about, we never had money for arcade. Every once in a while, somebody's mom or somebody would give us like a roll of quarters and go, there you go, it's your birthday or something. So like 4 of us would have a roll of quarters, so however many games that is, even then the games sometimes were 50 cents. So I don't know what they are now, but I mean, that wasn't an afternoon of playing games or nothing with a roll of quarters. So we had played video games for like a minute, and none of us liked video games that much. So if you could put, I forget what if a pool table was $1, nobody cared if you played on a pool table for like half the afternoon, right? As long as you didn't let the balls go in, you could play on a pool table forever.
Yeah. So this update to Defender, that's like a modern arcade stand-up Defender. Goddamn bacon. It's like I said, Tempest was my favorite. The triumvirate for me were Defender and Tron. Did you guys play Tron?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was wicked. The 4 different ones that you could pick. Yep. And you could do the, like when he's going up and the one after the bricks that would spin around you thing. You could make his arms go. We called it disco, as he's like ascending up into the rainbow light or whatever. But yeah, Defender for sure.
The speed, the light cycles,
light bikes. That was the curse level. That the spiders got pretty damn hard, but light bikes was always, if you didn't get the pattern down early, you were just screwed. That was another one. My little brother just beat that crap out of me.
Defender's the one where you got the bases and the little lines come from the top or the angle, and you got to shoot up at them, and that knocks out the whole line.
That's like Missile. Are you thinking Missile Command?
And which one's Defender?
Defender's is a side scroller where you're kind of like a little fighter jet.
And here I got a screenshot.
And you got little people at the bottom, and spaceships would come, or like a little alien guy would come down and like draw them up, and the idea was to shoot the ship the one that the alien force or whatever that was drawing them up towards the top of the screen, catch them and return them down. Otherwise, you were just ripping through.
I don't
Yeah,
remember that.
side scroller.
So you had
Yeah,
to
there
go
you
up
go.
and down.
Good.
Yep.
Game good. I never played
That was freaking awesome. Oh man, makes me want to go find an arcade. Every one of these does. I haven't played Robotron in decades. I would love to do that. Robotron was
Yeah.
nasty hard.
Every so often, I'll go looking at stand-up arcade games.
Well, I don't know why I haven't taken advantage, and I certainly will now. Their retro arcades are now a thing. I imagine everywhere, but here in Omaha, we have like 3 or 4, and one of them is 80s themed. It's like all Miami Vice pastel colors and everything. It's like, it's a regular bar. A couple of the other ones are bars as well. They even have like skee ball and shit. Just like, yeah, arcades for grown-ups. Imagine.
Oh, so I think we're gonna wrap it up here. We've been going for just over 2 hours.
Wow. Been flying, boss. This
It
has been a
did.
blast.
Once we got into the geek stuff, it took off. But so G-Webs, what you got going on? And DJ, can you drop a link for your websites?
Certainly will.
Not much. Thanks for the link. Cool to have a show to chat on. And at some point, I'm going to start doing some robot chats. So I'll probably figure out a good time to do those. But
Yeah, I always want to jump into your robot chats, but it's normal people time, so I usually have to miss them.
well, that's what I'm thinking is if I'm going to do the daily gun show anyway, then I might do my overnight stuff overnight and do that one because, if I got that quiz type of stuff I can play with, then it's easy enough to go head-to-head robots and other spaceships and stuff like that.
So there's a link out there for gearwebsites.com. Oh, hey, I have a commercial. Right chair. C&T Designs is saying you're killing it with your coverage of the new ATF rulings.
Yeah, thanks. It's started out as like I don't know what I was thinking. I guess it was from the comment periods. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to read this. I had no idea.
It's nice to hear, but 300 goddamn pages. That's ridiculous.
I had no idea. This is why when I was reading that book or whatever, I'd do 20 minutes at a time, and it's taken forever. This is insane. It's taken forever. But I'm not doing my taxes, so the whole time I'm doing it, I'm not doing my taxes. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, no, it's actually Biden's fault both ways. So, if you Biden, you're making this week horrible for me.
Baron, you got anything?
I am going to be collaborating with another channel here real soon. When it's done, I will announce it.
All right. I'll be waiting with bated breath. DJ?
I would like everyone to maybe check out the Almost Nightly Firearms Expo tomorrow on the Guns and Barbecue channel. I'll be there, so try not to be square. Until I see any of you again, be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and rock.
So I just want to thank everybody that's been on the panel and everybody that's been out in the chat. This was a fun one. I enjoy talking geek stuff, gun stuff, all kinds of stuff. So if there's ever anything that anybody wants to talk about in the future, just send me an email at untacticalfoss.com and I'm sure we can get around to it. But again, just like to thank everybody for coming and hanging out. The participation makes it worth it. Definitely.